Olivia just told us she's coming to the studio to hang out tomorrow.
Hey.
Olivia covering the Kings Warriors with Kenny Caraway tomorrow. So can't wait to see you here in person, man. That's exciting.
I'm
You should definitely
excited.
come to the studio because I'm not going to get to see you at the game. So it'd be my chance to see you.
Yeah, I want to take pictures by the big wall and
The
go
big Odyssey
regular.
wall.
Yeah, like I heard there's like a candy bowl or something or a snack bar. No? Doesn't Kenny
No,
go out and get candy like during a break every now and then? Or is that
vending
just
machine, Olivia.
Hmm.
It's a vending machine. He just taps his iPhone to it and takes whatever piece of candy falls out. That's what he does.
Oh man, Odyssey doesn't be paying for anything. Dang.
Bruh,
Just kidding. Just
bruh.
kidding.
Facts. That's big facts. Corporate Odyssey, those paying for Trista to come out here.
Yeah, well, I got some
Wow.
pepper wings yesterday from Odyssey
Oh, that's good.
and
Got-
cranberry and vodka.
Well, shout out to Kim who made sure I got an old fashioned and a glass of water.
Kim gave me a drink yesterday that had tequila and vodka in it.
Why?
She was mad at you.
Yeah, for my downfall.
I don't think there's some I learned like some of our people don't know how to drink. Like they wanted like high, like Ben Black Bottles 916 came through. Me and Ben have been on this like tequila ride, right? Yeah. And he was like, "Yo, they got this tequila I was telling you about. I'm gonna go get us some."
Yeah.
And Kimberly's like, "Yo, let's get shots. Let's get shots." I was like, "Hey, you don't shoot this stuff. Like you shoot cheap alcohol. You don't shoot this. You sip on it. You drink it."
Yeah.
Oh no, it's good alcohol. That's what you do with it. So we brought those and they're looking at it and like if you're drinking good tequila, you don't need salt, you don't need limes, you don't need any of that stuff. You need salt and limes when you're drinking cheap crap. If they serve your tequila with salt and lime, say bring me something else because I don't want this. So I got them to sip their little glass of tequila.
Well,
you gotta hey, Vontae Hill. There's levels to this.
There's levels. Monte is like you seen his commercial that plays in the Chase Center for like alcohol?
No.
Yeah.
Like what? Like a specific brand?
I can't remember. I want to say Jameson off the top of my head.
Okay.
But he's like, he got a commercial, bro. Like,
hey,
you know, have a pure here with Jameson and get it. Yeah.
Well,
time.
Shout out to Black Bottles 916. Shout out to those Luke Belair bottles behind Maybach O.
Big ups.
But I'll tell y'all now, we about to switch up. It's official now. We about to switch up. And when it's time, we'll tell you. But be on the lookout. We about to switch up.
So you're saying I need to go ahead and just finish these bottles and stop displaying them?
Like, well, you don't have to chug them, but like they could still be used as decorations for now. But in time, we making that switch. Oh yeah,
it's always love over there, though.
Always,
it's always love.
Always.
Shout out Ricky Rose.
Shout out to the whole crew. Yeah. But we ride with Black Bottles, man. That's where we go.
100%.
We ride with Black Bottles. As she fake chugs a black bottle of rosé. Thoughts last night? About last night?
The
Thoughts
game,
about
last,
the game
night.
last night?
Yes. See the branding, the foresight.
Beautiful. It's perfect.
I don't know if you've noticed, the workshop that I do, it's called Own Your Story. I started that like 11 years ago. Now everywhere you go, it's own your this, own your that. I'm like, everyone's owning stuff.
Ahead of the curve.
Ahead of the curve. Last night's game was entertaining. The Mavs were in a do or die. They're fighting for their lives. I think the Kings played well. Their loss did not worry me. Their loss to the Spurs didn't worry me. There are a lot of folks who are fighting for position right now. The Kings just need to keep doing what they're doing. I understand Coach Brown being frustrated with some of their defensive efforts or lack thereof. You don't necessarily want to go into the postseason deficient in that area, but we're not in the same position as some of these other teams. And I think it's okay. You want to create good habits. You want to go into healthy habit mode. You want that muscle memory there and ready to dial it up a bit even more during the playoffs. But I think the Kings are continuing to play good basketball. We've been able to stay healthy all season long, and that is a blessing. I think the next layer is going to be a bit challenging as teams get their players back, as their hunger grows. But I've been saying it for months now, maybe just keep doing what you're doing, because what you're doing is working. So again, last night's game was entertaining, but I was not disappointed heavily with their loss last night.
Yeah. One of the things that they're able to do with games like that, and the New Orleans game, because of how the game on Sunday went, is it's helping them stay sharp, for the playoffs. Because I said, after Sunday's game, and I still mean it, I mean, none of this really matters, none of it really matters. Like it's all about how you come out game one of the playoffs. Like I said, they could have won the rest of the games of the season. It would have no bearing on what's going to happen game one. They could have lost all the games to the end of the season. Once again, have no bearing on what happens with game one. That's where I do believe it's a different season. It's a different time. You reset everything and you reset your focus. But with losing on Sunday, it gave them a level of focus for that game against New Orleans. And then just the nature of yesterday's game with Dallas's desperation, it gave them a sense of like, I don't want to say something to play for, but it kept them sharp. Like I said, Friday's game is going to do the same thing with Golden State, because Golden State is going to be playing for something, and they're going to bring in a certain level of energy, and it's going to keep them, help the Giants, help the Kings play with a level of urgency going into the playoffs.
Man, the Giants wish they were playing like the Kings. Yeah, I hear you. I don't mean to hate on the Giants. I'm going to the game on Sunday, by the way. Anyways, yeah, I agree with you. I was not concerned with these last few games of the season. I don't think it tells a story about the Kings and what the playoffs will be like. I don't think those last few games or these last few games tell or will predict how they will perform in the playoffs. But I do think, last night, Kyrie is a superstar. He's a killer. He throws up daggers. That's to be expected. And as you get into the playoffs, there are going to be some random nights where somebody goes off and gets 30 points, gets 40 points, and jacks up something from half court and can take the game. Like, it happens. That's why you play. Any given night, most of these teams, except for, 10, 11, 12, most of these teams can win. So I liked the bounce back that they had after losing to the Spurs. Like you said, Kenny coming back and having a good game against the Pelicans. But yeah, all of these teams in the Western Conference, the Pacific Coast specifically, they're all fighting for their lives. They're trying to get into a particular position. And one thing that's been remarkable all season long is they have been playing with the expectation of doing well. And I think that's been a luxury for them at this point. And I think it's going to continue through the playoffs, because while people are saying, wow, the Kings are doing really well and Coach Brown's going to win Coach of the Year, I still think there's a level of expectation for other teams to step up and take the W and go to the Western Conference Finals. And the Kings, we'll see how well they do. And again, as fans, people have been watching this team grow all season long. We feel like we can do some damage in the postseason, but without having those eyeballs and those expectations on us, I think that's helpful for us to continue to do what we've been doing, going about our business, and people looking back going, oh, wait, maybe we underestimated. Let them continue to underestimate our ability to win. And I think that's good for the team to kind of be playing under the radar in that way.
Is there a team you really want the Kings to play in the first round, or a team you really don't want the Kings to play in the first round?
No, I honestly, I'll take on anybody. And everybody here knows that I am also a Warriors fan. But I said at the very beginning of this season,
left that part out.
If the Warriors do absolutely nothing, if they get crushed tomorrow night, which they lost, the Kings beat the Warriors last time I was in town. I expect the Kings to beat them tomorrow night. But the Warriors do nothing, the Kings kill them. I expect that, actually. I expect the Kings to beat them outright. I expect the Kings to be in a bit of a dogfight against the Lakers because of what their lineup looks like. But I'm with this team. I see their ability. I see their coaching staff. I see the way that they coach each other, how active they are. There are multiple points of aggression, like where their ability to, hit the midi, go hit the glass, shoot three. Like they just don't have, there aren't teams out there right now in the Western Conference that I think have all of those abilities like the Kings do. I keep saying abilities, but like they have different weapons in their arsenal that they can pull out. And there's no answer. There's no answer for De'Aaron. When he decides to go off, he goes off. It's a decision he makes, and if Herter's not hitting, Monk will hit. If Monk's not, we just have an incredible bench. We've got an incredible coaching staff. Again, cross our fingers we continue to stay healthy. And it's a decision how far the Kings go. It's a decision they get to make, how well they play, how defensively impacted they are, like whether or not they're going to turn it up in the beginning of the game, in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, save it all for the fourth. To me, it's not about the other team being better. It's a decision whether or not the Kings will play within their ability. And they just have to decide that night after night, play after play, quarter after quarter.
One of the things that we were talking about that a lot of people are concerned about, I understand the concern, but it's not anything to lose sleep over because it's out of your control, is the referees in the playoffs. And how, everybody is worried about, you go up against the Warriors are going to get a favorable whistle. You go up against LeBron and the Lakers, they're going to get a better benefit of the whistle than the Kings are. Probably Clippers and anybody that they play essentially will probably get a better whistle than the Kings. Do you subscribe to that? Because it is a concern because the referees have been incompetent for the better part of the year, but there ain't nothing you can do about it. There's literally nothing you can do about it. So no need losing sleep over it. Is that how you feel about it, or is it a legit concern for you?
I'm concerned. I'm only concerned because I don't want the Kings to overreact. I want them to be prepared to not get the calls. I want the fan base to be prepared to not get the calls. It sucks that it works this way. It doesn't make any sense. The rules are the rules. You should be calling it the way that you see it. But that's just not the reality of any professional league. Superstars have a leash. They can go really far off that leash. Other people's leashes are very short. We saw that last night with Kevin Huerter. He got that technical foul after being slapped in the face. He retaliated physically, so he did deserve a technical. You can't just push somebody to the ground. But we see that the whistle's not likely going to be in your favor in those kind of scenarios. Oftentimes they see the second hit, not the first one. Domas is going to have some black eyes and concussions. We're going to go through it. So as a fan base, we need to be prepared for that. Yeah, we're probably going to go all crazy on Twitter, but I think the Kings team, the players have to be able to play through those moments until you get on the other side. They've done an incredible amount of work this season to get to where they are. But like I said, they're still underdogs. They're still not really looked at as favorables. People are still kind of dismissing them to a certain extent. And for that reason, I also think the referees are going to be doing that. They're going to be dismissing them. They're not going to get the calls in the same way. So we have to understand that that's what's going to happen. But as players on the court, you cannot react to those referees. You have to play the game that's in front of you. You have to play the way that it's being called as best as you can. I don't want you getting thrown out in the first or second quarter. You got to get in there, not because of anger issues, right? If you get in trouble, you get a bunch of fouls. It's up to the coaching staff to be able to rotate you out. But I don't want to see people getting a bunch of technicals and getting thrown out of games because they're just frustrated. It's going to be frustrating, but you got to stay within yourself and work with each other to the finish line. That's just the way that it is.
They really messed up the Huerter call.
That was crazy. That was, once I went back and saw what happened.
The man got Rocky Balboa in the face.
right in front of the referee.
The foul, rightfully yelled at the ref about it. They looked at it. Oh, yeah, he's right. Yeah, that is a foul on.
But you still can't yell at me.
No, but you see how when Kevin hit him, pushed him off of him and got called that foul, if he hadn't pushed him and he just yelled and he was anybody else, if it was Kyrie and he screamed, he wouldn't have gotten called the tech. It would have just been oh, Kyrie's upset, right? But
I don't think he got a technical for the push, though, did he?
No,
he got a technical.
He got a foul for the push and a technical for the yell. But had he not pushed him back in retaliation and then screamed, then he wouldn't have gotten the tech. So if he had just gotten slapped in the face and then screamed, if any other player, I'm saying, had done that, they wouldn't have gotten a technical for just screaming. But Kevin Huerter and nobody on the Kings team can do that. You're not going to get away with screaming in a referee's face. It's not going to happen. Now, we all know that Doncic could cuss you out. Draymond could cuss you out and your mama. And it will take a long time for them to call a tech. But that's not where we are. So that's what I'm saying. You can't react that way. It's okay that he did it last night. It didn't matter. But I'm just saying, as we prepare for the playoffs, it's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse. But we don't want people getting thrown out of games because of that kind of stuff.
We got we got one of those situations that I think Matt Barnes was talking about, where the refs will make the incorrect call and they get told about it. They get held accountable by the player, but there's no punishment to it, or there's no taking back the technical and all this other stuff. Essentially, he got mad at Kevin Herter for yelling at him for making the wrong call.
Yeah.
And Kevin Herter got penalized and the Kings got penalized for this guy making the wrong call and being told about it.
Yeah.
Swag.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things that I think they need to be examining in terms of like changes in the rules. If you challenge a call and you were right, you should be able to keep your challenge. Lose the challenge when you're wrong. But there are other things. You know, it's funny, and I'm thinking about this. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching a game that Jeff Van Gundy was calling. And when he's calling a game, I typically put it on mute. But that guy whines about the current players like nobody's. When I was a coach, we didn't do this. Who cares that they're playing these games? Why are they sitting down? There's no woman who can get on television who could be a color commentator and bitch as much as he bitches. I don't know if I'm allowed to say bitch, Jesse. Sorry, I just said it. Like,
oh yeah, we let it fly. You got it.
But that was one of the things that he mentioned, the fact that you should be able to keep your challenge if you're successful. But, you know, in terms of referees not receiving punishment for it, I don't really know what you can do. I mean, I think you get rewarded if you're right with being able to call playoff games, right? Like if you have a good crew and you are elevated to be able to playoffs. And then if you're even better during the playoffs, you get to call the finals. I think that's your only reward, but I don't think you get fined for that stuff. And I don't really know how you would be able to kind of punish them for those things. But that's what I mean about the players having to just play the game that's being called. It's a struggle. It's crappy. It's unfair, especially when you've worked this hard to get as far as the Kings have from where they were last year to where they are now. Like you are owed some respect, but it just doesn't work that way.
Are you happy with the way that the Kings have responded to, you know, games like Sunday? I want to call it adversity. I don't know if Sunday's loss with it was adversity as much as it was annoyance or frustration. You know, obviously they didn't lose anything by losing that game to San Antonio. I mean, figuratively, you know what I mean? But do you think they've done a good job at responding this year?
I think they've been pretty much rattle proof. I don't think they've gone in like long stretches of losses all season. I think months ago when they were down here playing either the Kings or the Clippers, Coach Brown talked about them trying to win 3 out of 5, just 3 out of 5, 3 out of 5. That's what we call a victory. And I think they've kept their heads down and have really operated that way. They haven't allowed themselves to get down on themselves within a game, and they haven't gone through these long losing streaks. I think they're confident in each other's individual ability and their collective ability. So I think they've been able to remain rattle proof and that they don't get shaken. They don't start falling out of the game plan, even when a game is close or they start losing by a couple. They look at the clock and they're like, we got plenty of time to do what we're going to do. If we want to turn it up, we'll turn it up and get this W. And at times, like last night, just superhuman abilities from superstar players like Kyrie, it's not enough on nights like that. But I don't think you can see, like last year, we talked a lot about how it would look physically on them when they were dejected. The shoulders would slump, they'd get down. And anytime it was close, you're like, just try to get over the hump. But they didn't have that confidence that they could get over it. And it would quickly turn into some like 10-point, 15-point deficit. And all of a sudden they're out of the game. I don't think the Kings have done that all season long. I could be wrong. Will Z, let me know about those stats. But I think they've been able to really confront any challenges. And even if they don't get over that hump, they don't let it turn into a big snowball effect within a game and within a series of games. They've been able to reel it in. And Coach Brown has done that within a game, even if it's like 1 or 2 plays where Keegan's playing off or someone's not playing hard enough defense. He calls a timeout and shuts it down. And I think they've been able to do that successfully all season, which again is a testament to where they are right now. And 3rd place in the Western Conference.
You mentioned Keegan. We didn't bring up him not getting any shot attempts in the second half. Not sure how that happens.
I don't know.
I put
0 for 0.
Yeah, I put a little bit of that on Keegan too. You got to be aggressive at some point. Like, and it's not all on him. They got to look for him or whatever. But you're too vital not to shoot the ball.
Dallas ramped. I understand. This is a wild sentence I'm about to utter. Dallas ramped up their defense in the second half.
What?
There was a point in the 4th quarter. I look back at Brian Cruz, who was sitting right behind me. I was like, are the freaking Mavericks playing defense? They did in the 4th. They got desperate.
Yeah.
We talked about like they got desperate. They needed to win. And I don't know that they were locking down Keegan for 24 minutes. But, yeah, it is pretty wild that Keegan didn't take a single shot in the second half.
Can't have that happen.
He needs
Especially
a pep
with the
talk.
way he played in that first half. He played really well
Right.
in the first half.
Yeah.
How many did he have a couple fouls in the first half? Like
Yeah,
3 or so? Like maybe he got a little.
But he got him quick. But then he got back in there in that second quarter and he was hitting some shots.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sometimes I would imagine being a rookie in that kind of situation, in that kind of atmosphere, maybe you're letting the veterans on the team kind of run what's happening, and you're thinking you need to step back a bit. And
nah, you can't do that.
Can't do
I mean, I know you don't want that, but I'm imagining here, like maybe that's what he was thinking, not trying to find his shot. But Keegan's been amazing all season long. The way that he shoots with confidence, the way that he carries himself, the ability to be coachable. He's just been an amazing addition to this team. I don't even see how he would fit anywhere else. He just belongs here in Sacramento.
I just thought of something. I think this is a magnificent idea without telling you in advance. I just absolutely love this idea. So we're about to enter the playoffs for the first time in 16 years, right? And you just talked about this a few minutes ago. Own your story. So you're speaking to the Sacramento Kings right now. Olivia, tell them 16 years. Own your story. What pep talk would you give them?
Oh man, why did you have to make me all big
for this? This is just a great idea.
I would say keep doing what you're doing. You have earned this slot. You have earned this focus. You've earned these wins. You have earned it for each other as you have played individually, within yourselves, collectively as a team. Lean on each other. Believe in each other. You've got this. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing for you to be distracted by. Just focus in on this team and each night playing as hard as you can, as smart as you can for 48 minutes. That's all it takes. I'm usually drunk at my workshop, so I sound a little bit better, but I'm not drunk today.
Is that true? That's tremendous. That's tremendous. Is everybody else drunk or just you?
I do try to get other people drunk first when it's like an evening happy hour workshop.
It's like a comedy show where everything is funnier if everyone's a little.
Two drink minimum right here.
That is absolutely why there is a 2-drink minimum at comedy clubs. Everything is a little funnier with a little alcohol.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's my overall, like, you're in the NBA. You're on an incredible team. I think a lot of times we hear from professional athletes are like, if I need motivation, I'm in trouble. At this point, I should have the motivation within me already. I've got a team around me that believes in me, a coaching staff that believes in me. I've got it done mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm doing the things I need to do to be better, to get after it. So there's really no change in the game. Just keep doing what you've been doing.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe I go before you get out of here. Major League Baseball season has started.
It did?
Yeah. Yes. MLB TV. Have they had any games on there yet? I don't think so, right?
No, tonight's the first night. And I don't even know which games they're on, but they fired everybody from Apple's Friday night baseball lineup.
Who they have now?
I don't even know. I don't think there are any women though, which really sucks. I was looking for the names, but I couldn't find, I didn't do a good job Googling it all, but I just learned that they got rid of everyone. And I know you didn't think it was that terrible, but I hated it so much. It was so bad. But if we can start a campaign where I get to try out.
Who was the lady that was on there again?
There were a couple. They had some East Coasters and some West Coasters, but Katie Nolan was the most famous. Yeah.
You're not a Katie Nolan fan?
Not for baseball.
Okay.
She just didn't know the rules. She was like, somebody tagged someone when they were sliding into second. They hit his helmet, and but they hit his helmet. Is he still out? I'm like,
oh my God.
Well,
I don't think that should be fair.
They tried to grab a name and just kind of put them in the. Okay, that's tough.
Yeah. But she admitted it. She wasn't acting like she knew everything. She was like, I've never done this before. Let's see. But I'm like, I don't know if this is the stage where you test it out. That seemed wild to me.
Well, maybe it is. It's MLB TV on Apple. It's not the World Series. Put a Katie Nolan on there.
Yeah, I don't hate them for putting an Olivia Christian on there.
Yeah, let them
yes.
get the reps in.
right. Well,
Not
we'll
Sunday
see you
night
tomorrow.
baseball.
As we mentioned, Olivia will be covering the Kings Warriors game. For those who are unaware, the Kings have not lost, including a 176 to 175 victory at the Crypto.com arena in Los Angeles. The Kings have not lost a game that Olivia has covered, and she will be here covering the game tomorrow night. We can't wait to see you, Maybach. We appreciate you as always. We'll